It's never me! 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 Oh my god, it's actually never me. It's never me. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's never me. It's actually never me. KFC, if you ever blame me for any game ever, I'm permanently banning you. Okay, welcome to this video. I honestly have never in my entire life had such a difficult game because of the absolute monkeys on my team. Genuinely, this is the hardest and probably longest Overwatch game that I have ever had the displeasure of playing in my entire life. So let me show you the scoreboard quick, right? So just so we can get situated, okay? These are my team stats. These are the enemy team stats. They have 3 guys with more than 50 kills, okay? Now, in this video, I'm going to be going over this game and just explaining my thought process. So buckle in, because this is probably going to be a long video, because yes, I am going to be going through all 28 minutes of gameplay, okay? But if you want to learn how the king plays monkey, okay, then this is exactly how it's going to be. I have like no playtime on monkey. If we go all time on this account, I have about a grand total of, where is Winston? Am I actually losing my marbles? Where's Winston? I have 1 hour on this account. I'm 6 and 3, and then on my main account, right? On my main account, this is all time, right? I've got a bunch of hours on Soldier, Ashe, Ana, Zarya, Zen, right? Look at how many hours I have on Winston. I've got 24 hours on Winston all time, right? On any account. I've only ever had this account and Flax Yeti, right? And then obviously like a bunch of these other heroes I've not even played on my main account, right? So like I'm gonna show you how a guy who doesn't even play Winston is actually able to win on Winston and in 6v6 where like he's like technically weaker. So yeah, I'm gonna do my best to go through this game as quick as I can, because obviously this is gonna be a really long obviously game here. No promises. You know, you can see like how long the video is. I have no promises in like how long this video is actually going to be, but really I just want to explain why I do things personally, because obviously I don't have a ton of time on Winston, so I make a ton of mistakes, but because I fundamentally understand how to play the game, I still know how to play this kind of character. I just don't have the good like micro. So here I'm just setting up here because I can then just drop onto them. I dropped a little early here. I should have waited for them to walk forward a bit more, but to be honest, I thought they'd already walked more forward. What I should have done was sit here, wait for them to walk in this open space or this kill box, and then my teammates can shoot them, and then whilst they're standing in this open space, I can drop on top of them and then jump out. That's what I should have done. I'm gonna be pressing the wrong button this whole time, aren't I? But here I get in, I jump out. No need to really overcommit. I just try and engage a little bit, and now I'm gonna look to set up again. And as I'm trying to set up, my team dies, which is unfortunate, but the reason why my team is dead is because I jumped in. So like that's not even my team's fault, because had I actually been ready to engage when I needed to, my team would not be dead so fast. So like I think in this game I was like, oh wow, how did my team die so fast? Well, guess what, right? if we backtrack a bit, I'm sure that it's because their Winston had no bubble and couldn't engage. So Winston goes in, and then guess what? They just walk forward. Now, obviously, my Brig is playing over here for some reason, but I would have been able to stop this if I had shield. I would have been able to stop this guy from dying if I had shield, right? So this is why you don't want to engage too early. But now I'm trying to wait for my team to regroup. I try and jump up on the high ground. I miss. Just engage here. This is fine because we're not really fighting. Although I probably could have saved bubbles so that we could touch, but it's just one of them things. I'm gonna jump on the Hanzo, because I want to force him out. If I let him play up here, well then he's going to have this really good angle, and he's going to be able to poke us down. So I need to force him out. Why can't I do this? Because monkeys have got very good mobility. Now, I want to now here maybe I could have dropped, but it's kind of risky because there's just all 6 looking at me. Now I want to talk about how I play monkey, okay? And I'll kind of do that as the game goes on. But the way I want to play monkey is I want to use my jump to stage or to engage or disengage, right? So staging is basically where you just take like a separate angle which like isn't on main, so that you can either walk on the enemies or then use a second jump to actually engage. The reason why the reason why I do this is so that I'm on an off angle, meaning that the enemies can't just look at me down main and then see me jumping into them. Then I'll talk about the other player. So here, my Ryan's dead, so I kind of have to be like really patient. I have to wait for them to walk forward enough so that they're in this open space, so that they're distracted, and then you see I can drop on them and then actually get a decent amount of value because now I'm stopping them from engaging my team. Then obviously I jump out when things get bad. This is how this is how I use my jump mostly, to just get out, because it's a really fast mobility cooldown. Now here, I have to wait to get healed. I can't jump anywhere because there's no angles. So I'm just playing here, getting healed. Then I jump up top. I'm staging, right? Because my team is here. So I want to be over here. I'm staging, and then you can see people are either going to ignore me or they're going to look at my team. Now, unfortunately, they do look at my team and they kind of die. But like you could see, I would have been prepared to dive on these guys if I could. But unfortunately, we had a guy die. Now I think me going back main here maybe was a mistake, but you can see I'm now I'm staging again, trying to set up on an angle to distract, because now my tank is on the left, I'm on the right, and it kind of gives me the freedom to kind of jump in like when I need to, because you see how all these guys were focused on the Ryan. I can quickly pop from the left. It's not really an off angle, but it's not directly by the Ryan, so I can pop in right over here, jump in the backline, and now I'm causing a bunch of disruption. Now how do I use bubble? Some people like to pop bubble as soon as they land to stop taking damage. The way I like to use bubble is I like to kind of wait a little bit until I actually start taking damage. It's like I lose some health, then I start taking damage. Now, I didn't actually lose health here. I think I popped it honestly a little early. But yeah, that's how I like to use bubble, because it allows you to prolong how long I can distract the enemies for. And then when things go bad, I just have to get out. I try to go for the Emre here, kill him. Why do I go for the Emre? Well, because he's flying in the sky and he's just pushing me into an enclosed space. And he also gets hit by a big sim right click, so I'm just able to finish him off. And now I'm already pre-set up on the off angle here, so now all I've got to do is chill. But unfortunately, I get scouted by the Juno, so I've got to jump out. The reason why I jump in here is simply just because they don't really have like the rapidness to destroy my bubble. So I know I can just jump in, even if it's in front of them, and then bubble, and then I know I'm gonna be safe, right? Because like look at that comp. Soj, Hanzo, Domina, and these guys. Yeah, they do a lot of damage, but they don't necessarily destroy my bubble very fast. And if I use cover when I engage, which you can see here, then I can easily just run if they do destroy my bubble. Boom, they destroy the bubble. I'm able to use cover. Here, I'm waiting for like the enemies to get distracted, and then I want to jump in. So even though I don't have bubble, I don't like jumping in without bubble. I kind of have to, because if I don't, the enemies are going to be able to walk forward for free and just kill my team, especially because the Domina used her ult. So like I want to try and distract, split attention. Maybe not the best play, but it's what I chose to do in the moment. Maybe what I should have done was just kited, because the Domina did ult a bit early, and I could have helped destroy the barriers, but who knows. So here I'm just poking, and then you see when we start getting close, I'm going to start staging, because now the enemies have to focus on two things, right? Because my team and I am walking forward, they have to walk back, and it just gives me a good angle over here to jump from where I want to. So I go on the Hanzo. Why? I actually don't remember. Because he was kind of isolated, and I saw that he used his jump, right? I think. Nah, he didn't. Anyway, I saw the Hanzo over here. He's kind of isolated. I can bubble to separate him from the rest of his team. And I don't mind getting low, because I've got Primal, and I can just do this. Kill him, and then I go for the Soj. I try to shop the Soj on as best I can, because obviously she is ulting. And then I can just continue going for her, because I've got bubble and jump, so I have nothing to really be afraid of. Here, I see Emre over here, but because I'm so low HP, I just have to jump out. So Monkey's all about just engaging, disengaging, setting up, engaging, disengaging, right? You don't want to constantly be in as Monkey, because that's how you're going to end up dying a lot, right? You have to scout, set up by using a jump, then engage right here. So here I tried to scout, and it would have allowed me to drop from this off angle when I've got my jump, and then I can just jump out again, right? And then I use my bubble to just prolong the engagements. Monkey is a very simple character. Here I just walk forward because I see like a decent amount of them get low. Right, like I see the Mizuki here, and I see the Emre. Honestly, this was kind of a bad play, but they weren't really shooting me. They were all kind of looking at my Rein. So I mean, I was just able to walk forward, do that, distract, get a bunch of damage, and then get out. And that distraction, by the way, allowed my Emre to, why he almost dies to the dragon. But like this distraction allowed my Emre and my Reinhardt to use their ults to kill them, right? Because look, I go in. They're all looking at me. They've used all their resources on me. And then my Rein's able to walk forward, shatter, get 4. And then my Emre is also able to follow up on that as well. So you don't necessarily have to get kills to get value and carry. But, you know, it is kind of the preferred playstyle. Here, I just jump in. Why? Because they're down people and the Hunter's isolated. And now, I'm going to go set up before the fight in a position where I can drop on the enemies. That's what setting up means. So like setting up and staging are like kind of the same thing, but staging is about like where you know where you go. Setting up is more about the intention to get on an angle so that you could drop on the enemies. So here I'm going to jump on the high ground because the high grounds you have to either use a lot of time or a resource to get up to me. Like here the Emre has to use a lot of time getting over here, and then I can just try and punish him. Or I think I just jump out because I don't want to get shot at by too many people. Because you see how like I was kind of isolated here. Had a bunch of guys here. Had an Emre here. I don't want to be like sandwiched. So I'm just going to jump out, get safe. And it's all good. Just using the cart as cover. My Rein is dead right now. So currently I kind of have to like play here. So that I can like hold the corner whilst my Rein gets back. Or, oh no, my Rein DC'd. I remember right. So my Rein DC'd. So I kind of have to frontline a little bit more, because if I don't, the enemies are going to be able to see more of my team. But here, I'm just chilling behind the corner, and corners are very important for tank, because using this corner, I'm able to restore my HP and my cooldowns. Right? So like you see that I used my bubble earlier. Now I used the corner, right, and the corner is just like a separation of line of sights. So like, the enemies are here in this open space. I'm in this open space, but there's a corner separating these two angles, so they have to walk into me or I have to peek out into them in order for us to shoot each other. This allows me as a tank, but as anyone really, to regen my health and to regen my cooldowns, so that when the enemies do walk in, I have a better chance of trying to distract and live. Now unfortunately we're in a 4v5 or a 5v6, so it's kind of hard. I use bubble to just try and prolong my life. Unfortunately it doesn't work out very well. Okay, next life. I see that my Domina is down there pulling a bunch of attention. So this is where Winston is really good, right? Winston is really good when your teammates are pulling the attention, right? Hanzo, Domina, Sojourn, Emre, right? And then this guy's looking at the Emre, this guy's looking at the Emre, right? So all of these people are technically focused on Domina. That gives you free reign as Winston to jump on anyone not paying attention. And here I get to jump on the Sojourn, force her out of the high ground. And doing this, I also stage, right? So I'm doing a 2-in-1 jump. I clear the Sojourn. This is what this is called. Your clearing is just getting people off of angles because you don't want them to play there before the fight. But also, whilst I'm clearing, I'm actually also staging, because as you can see, I'm set up on the high ground. No one can really reach me. And then I'm able to drop whenever I need to because I'm set up. I'm just throwing right clicks. I probably could have jumped on the Hanzo here. I think the reason why I didn't is simply because the timing would have been a little bit poor. Because I don't really have any teammates up yet. Yeah, I think the reason why I didn't is because there was like 2 there. The timing like would have been pretty bad because I don't really have a lot of teammates. So I just decided to drop. Because now I'm like, the important thing of me not doing that is that me jumping over here, I would have had to use my resources, right? I would have had to use jump, bubble, maybe primal, but that wouldn't have been very good because I would have had to contest the cart. So I think the reason why I dropped is so that later on I could then contest the payload. So here I just jump in here. I need to actually try and make something happen because there's a lot of people over here, and if I let them play here, they're going to kill my team. So I need to just go in and primal so that I can grab all of the attention onto me. You see how many people are shooting me, right? And then obviously I'm able to force out the Mizuki, make him use his charm or his return. Crazy how he doesn't die there, but it's unlucky, right? And then obviously with Primal, you have a decent amount of health. Now the mistake I made here was staying in too long, right? So once you have a lot of health as Monkey in Primal, you're still pretty vulnerable, right? So the mistake I made was just staying in too long. I should have jumped out earlier. Probably would have been able to jump on the Hanzo, Primal him off the high ground, and then I could just stay here, and then maybe drop it if I need to. But overall, I think the idea to Primal to like distract the enemies was pretty good because it just meant there was a lot less time of them being on my team. But unfortunately, we're in a 5v6 there, and we end up losing. But that's okay. We have our teammate back, so now we can just go on to the next round. Yeah, Monkey is a super simple hero in my opinion, in theory. But in practice, there's a lot that goes in. You have to understand like where you can and can't go. You have to understand positioning, cooldown usage, all this stuff, right? Tracking cooldown. So here, I jump over here. Why? Because I want to stage. I don't want to be in front of the enemies like this because Monkey isn't very good at poking, right? He has his right click, which is okay, but he's not very good at poking. So if I sit here and play the frontline trade, they're going to be able to force out my resources a lot better than I'm going to be able to force out theirs, right? Like, if I sit here and try and fight the Domino 1v1, I might be able to fight the Domino 1v1 to be honest, like in this position. But if I try and like use right clicks to trade out with these guys in the back, they're going to get more value on me than I'm going to get on them. Why? Well, like, a resource is just health, ammo, cooldowns, ult, right? It's anything your character has. They're going to force out my bubble way faster than I'm going to force out, a jump or a slide or a pistol or a fucking... I don't remember what this cooldown's called. Like a jet boots or something, right? And my bubble is a way longer cooldown than this. So I have to use it like at a really good moment. I can't use it like all willy-nilly. So this is why I stage, because this is going to allow me to set up and engage when something happens, right? And you can see here I'm using the corner here to regen my health, and again, someone distracts the enemies. I'm able to go in and follow up on that distraction. I'm able to use bubble here. Why? Because I'm taking a bunch of damage, and then because I was able to follow up on on that dive, we basically won that fight instantly, right? Like let's watch this from the Anran's POV, because like she's the one who actually got the dive off, right? So she goes on the left to go on the off angle. Why? Because all of these guys are looking this way, right? So any other angle is now going to be an off angle. Also, on King's Row first point, OC made a really good video about this, but this is really bad positioning. Can you guess why the enemies being positioned here is really bad? Because if you're here, you're not holding any space or like anywhere else, right? You're not holding this. You're not holding this. You're not holding all of this high ground. You're just letting the enemies, especially if they're mobile, just take all of this space. And then when the enemies have more map control than you and more space than you, it's going to be really easy to kill you. And like, even though we had the bare minimum map control, hotel, and kind of like statue over here, we were still able to get so much value just because all of them were stacked main. So just a tip, don't all stack main on King's Row, because this is what's going to happen, right? You're just going to get dove and you're going to take a bajillion damage. And then this is pretty simple. I just use my left click to kill them. Also, I know I haven't really talked about left click and right click. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? You're going to use your right click when you're poking, left click when you're in. Here, using my right click to poke. Obviously, even as Winston, we don't want to be sat there doing nothing, right? We want to be doing as much damage as possible. Force out cooldowns, force out healing, and it gives us ult charge. There's really no negatives to this. Here, I jump in because I'm close to my bubble. There's not a lot of enemies that can really do too much damage. And Emre's 1 HP. And you always want to capitalize on people who are 1 HP. I kind of botted out here. I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to jump for the Sojourn because she has no slide. And this is what I mean by capitalizing on advantage, right? Monkey's really good at capitalizing on when people use their cooldowns, right? Because Soj has no slide, and my jump is on a shorter cooldown than her slide. Even though I didn't have my jump when she used her slide, I'm still able to get her back faster than she's able to get her slide. And then I'm able to jump on her and kill her, right? And like, because she has no movement, she's dead. Right? That's basically the gameplay loop. You want to force out enemy cooldowns, especially movement ones, so that you can use your own movement cooldown in order to capitalize. So here, set up on the off angle. I'm not just sat main, right? You can see I'm not just sat with my team over here. I'm sat on a slightly separate angle. Not too deep, because I need to get healed. I need to wait for an engage. But then when the enemies engage, well then I'm just gonna engage their backline because I want a backline trade. And I go for the Emre specifically because he's isolated. Unfortunately, he just barely lives, but that's okay. You don't need to get a kill in order to, like, win the engagement. Even though I said earlier, you do want to try and get kills as much as possible. You don't have to get kills to win the engagement. Now, I'm just set up on the angle here. You see how this is really annoying? The Domina and the Doom want to play over here because they want to hold space. So these guys want to play around here to support them. But they can't really do that because there's a Winston in their backline. And then you can see, because these guys get pulled back, the Domina has to get pulled back. And then because the Doomfist is on his own, he's going to die, right? You can see this. Oh, well, he almost died. But like, in theory, you can see, because he doesn't have the support he needs, he almost dies. Here, I just go for an engage so that I can distract the enemies without using my jump, by the way. This is an example of not having to use jump. Why do I not have to use jump? Because I was already set up before, so I don't actually have to use my leap to get on top of them because I'm already really close. So now I'm able to really quickly disengage if I need to, right? You know, I engage. Oh shit, things are going bad. Let me jump out, right? I used bubble here just because I was kind of scared of dying. I pushed this Mizuki because he's really close to my brick for some reason in this enclosed space. Try and get out. The Doom gets rallied, so I just go for him. My Mizuki pops ult, so I know I can actually walk out. If you don't know, Mizuki ultimate is basically a big DM. So I can play in this circle, and none of these guys can shoot me. I think Domino can shoot me, but basically the ult acts as a defense matrix, and it eats all of the projectiles. So like I can play safe in here, get some health, and then I can just jump on anyone isolated, which is the Juno here. Now I'm right clicking. I jump out because I'm not sure how many people are here, and I don't want to engage too early. But why do I not want to engage here? Yeah, because my team is all the way back here, right? If I engage over here, I'm going to end up like getting like 1v4'd, 1v5'd without my team being able to follow up because they're all the way over here. Now, if my team was over here, for example, and they could peek the corner into this open space and see all of these people looking at me, maybe I wouldn't mind doing that. But because I know the timing is not very good, I want to just set up, I want to poke, I want to wait for my team to take some more space, then I can start distracting again. Here, I jump on the Emre, he's distracted and he's kind of isolated, right? No one's really paying attention to him. But I think this was a little greedy. Now I do this because I have Primal, so I know I can play a little bit more aggressively. I jump on the Sojourn. Why? Well, it's a double whammy, right? It's these like double value jumps where, yeah, I'm using it to get out, but I'm also able to use it to clear someone at the same time, right? I'm using the jump to get out of this bad situation into clearing the high ground, right? I'm getting like double value. And also, like I just talked about earlier, the reason why I actually engage this is simply because I can, like, I feel like my team would be able to follow up on this. Now, I didn't know that, by the way. The mistake I made, I didn't know that. I should have looked back at my teammates, like, seen when they were, and then made an educated decision, because that's a big part of making choices as a tank, as I'll talk about in my tank decision-making video. You can go check that out. A big part of knowing, like, what to do, or, like, figuring out, is knowing where your team is, right? So here, I didn't know if my team could follow up. Now, thankfully, they could kind of follow up, right? They could kind of do damage, but I didn't know that. But anyway, I distract, I pull, I jump out because I'm in danger to, you know, just get out. I end up clearing the Sojourn kind of on accident. She dies. And now I'm just chilling on the angle here. Why? Because they have to force me out. I don't have to force them out, right? We're getting payload pushed. They have to force me out, so I'm not on their backline. And the reason why I do this is simply because I have Primal, right? I'm not really too afraid of going in. I go back in to try and put attention. Go in. And now I probably shouldn't have gone in. I should have just stayed out, right? Because why? Because I was already 300 HP. But because I made this play, my teammates... Oh no, that's their Emre. Is it? Why is it saying Lily if that's just not even... That's so weird. It's saying... That's so odd. Whatever. Maybe they changed their name. But yeah, I shouldn't have kept going in because, again, that's the second time I've made that mistake. I just stayed in too long because I was low HP and it got me killed. Now here, I'm just trying to take space. I like taking this space because it allows me kind of easy access to their backline. How do I know the backline's going to be here? I have 2,000 hours in this game. People commonly hold this corner when they're trying to stop the enemies coming through here. Usually it ends up with the supports being over here. That's just kind of like a playtime thing. But obviously the Doom's going to contest me, but I'm going to keep contesting this angle because it's really good for me. Now, unfortunately, now I made the same mistake. I stayed there too long, so that's my bad. Yeah, I jump up, I'm poking, and then when I see an opportunity to go in, I just go in. Why do I know to go in? Because there's 3 people over here, right? 3 people focused on my team. So if I can jump on the backline, I can at least stop the Emre from getting rally. Right, I jump, not nothing special. I just jump from the high ground, which is the staging I was talking about earlier, onto the backline, and now I'm able to pull a bunch of attention. Juno, Emre, Sojourn, they all look at me briefly. And then I can just keep doing that. And then you see, I didn't bubble immediately, right? I didn't bubble immediately. Why? Because I have cover, I have a health pack, right? I don't want to waste my bubble like this because it's kind of pointless. I want to use it to prolong my engagement, right? So then I walk back out after they think I've disengaged. This was a little bit of a bait, right? Where I kind of made them think, oh yeah, you know, guys, monkeys, you know, disengaging, guys. But then I baited them. Boom! I'm coming back out. And now because Emre has used his pistol, he is now killable. Now, if you don't know, Emre's pistol is basically like his movement / survivability cooldown. When he hits shots with his pistol, he gets a little bit of life steal, and he gets increased movement speed, and he gets increased jump height. So it's basically like his coach gun, his slide, his form of survivability, right? And when you force it out, naturally, he's just a guy with a gun. He can't heal, so he's easily killable. And then because I was distracting the backline, we were just backline trading, and it just turns out that my team wins the backline trade. Here, I see Sojourn, so I'm gonna walk on her. The reason why I walk on her, by the way, is because I didn't know if she had slide or not. Well, okay, well, there's 2 reasons. One, I didn't know if she had slide or not, so I didn't want to use jump, and then she would slide away. I wanted to walk, then she used slide, and then I can jump in. But also, I have this perk over here, which makes it for every person up to 3 people, or up to 30%, for every person you're currently damaging with your primary fire, you actually get a little bit more movement speed. So right now, I've got 10% more movement speed, which means I can actually keep up with the Sojourn, even though I'm not using any cooldown. So I knew I didn't have to use a jump. And same thing with the Juno here. I just chase her. Why? Because she's isolated. Easy kill. Now, I want to try and set up, but also clear. Why? Because I want to set up on the high ground, because it's going to be really good to drop. But also, I see the Doom up here, and I want to clear him off the high ground, right? So I'm going to... I was going to do that, but I was worried about getting punched off the map if I jumped up. So I tried to jump up here, but I failed. And that's my bad. Now I just want to do as much damage as possible and then get out when I need to, right? I kill Domina. I don't overextend. I don't jump in. I just get out. That's it. I just get out, and now I wait for healing. And unfortunately, I die because I'm running EU's best support comp, which is Brig Mizuki. So that's unfortunate. Gonna come back, just poking. Right now, I can't really set up, but here, my Brig is actually engaging with Rally. That's a big opportunity to capitalize on. Why? Because Rally is a pretty dangerous ult. So the enemies are not gonna want to let it get used, right? So then they're gonna look at the Brig, and then because they're looking at Brig, I'm able to kind of just jump in there and just kind of shit on people. And also, I have Primal, so it really helps me to get that value here. Now, I tried to go for the Mizuki. Kill him. Gonna go for the Domina. I'm really just going for anyone here. Like, my Primal mechanics are not very good. Like, I'm like okay at using Primal. It's nothing crazy though. And here I just jump away from the Doom, and then we end up capping the points. So that's pretty good. Now, I think that... Now, let's look at the scoreboard, right? Their stats are insane, right? Like, their stats are just superior to my team. But the reason why I have such good stats, and we technically are winning right now, is simply because I'm just playing fundamentally well. You know, I'm playing Winston correctly. I'm setting up, I'm scouting, I'm engaging, I'm going in a bit, using my bubble to prolong my engage, and then I'm just getting out. I'm not overstaying my welcome most times. Now, here... Here is the same thing that I did on the previous defense round, except I'm doing it from probably a more optimal angle because it's going to be harder for the enemies to see me, and I'm also a bit closer to like the drop points. Like if enemies are standing here, I can drop directly on top of them, so it's just a bit better. Again, I don't know why I keep doing this. Like I keep going way too early. This is way too early because now they see me, and obviously because I can't fight them like face to face, I now just have to jump out. I don't know why I keep doing this. I could have also maybe helped help my Anran, because you know she was distracting, but I don't know. I just wasn't paying attention. But anyway, I'm gonna go set up, and you can see how it's supposed to happen, right? They walk forward a bit, and then I can kind of capitalize on that and try and get a kill. I just jump out when things go bad. I jumped right into the hog and the domino, which is unfortunate. I'm just shooting now. And then you see, you always want to try and use your jump to like create off angles, get to off angles, you know, jump, you know, I'm jumping above the statue so that I can avoid the hog, right? Because like the hog's over here, but if I jump over him, then he just has no idea I'm there. That's so funny, right? Let's watch his POV. So he's over here, he's shooting, right? He basically, bro, he saw a streak of black on his screen, right? He had no idea I was there, which allowed me to bypass the front line and then jump into his back line. And this is how you play into Roadhog, by the way. You just avoid him. Now here, look at how many people I'm currently distracting. Everyone. I'm distracting everyone on their team. And then guess what this is gonna allow my team to do? This is gonna allow my team to walk forward and then try and capitalize. Now here I almost died. I don't know why the hog isn't hooking me. Like I know he's got hook. Oh, he doesn't have hook. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, he didn't have hook. Oh, unlucky. But yeah, obviously I'm gonna jump out because I don't want to get hooked. And now I'm gonna go play behind the corner so that I can get my cooldown reset. Right, you see, I'm gonna go behind here so that I can get my resources back. And then when I've got resources, now I can go into the Emre, right? Because you see, previously I didn't have my bubble. But waiting behind the corner. Then once I've got my resources, I can then go for the Emre and force him out. All right, clear him off the high ground. Now, unfortunately, he low-key mobility mogged me, but now he has no pistol, so he's just dead, right? With no pistol, there's not a lot he can do. Unfortunately, my team was dead, so I couldn't capitalize. So now I've got chill. Gonna go on the Juno because she's shooting me. And then when I see my team going, again, this is really important to understand. When my team is engaging, right, everyone is looking at these guys. There's a bunch of fucking fighting happening here. I walk on their backline. I even jump because I want to reach their backline faster, right? I jump over here so that I can try and distract people as best I can. Now, I think this bubble was a little bit poor. Like, no one was actually like looking at me other than the Emre, and he doesn't do too much damage. If I walked forward a bit, maybe placed the bubble here, I would have blocked this guy's LOS. I would have put the bubble on top of these guys, and it would have been a way better bubble than before. But you see, the hog pushes me, right? Like the hog is walking into me. I'm not gonna allow myself to walk into this guy. Now, unfortunately, I do get primal, so I die. But the idea was that I could jump out and go into this hallway. Okay. So like, yeah, look, my team is trash. 9 and 12, 10 and 7, 4 and 8, 5 and 11, and then look at their stats. They are shitting on my team. Genuinely just shitting on us. And like by my team, I do also mean me, right? Like I've also got 8 deaths. So I'm not guilty. Or like I'm not guilty. Here, this is the same concept, right? I'm trying to stage, but at the same time I can also clear. Getting these double value jumps are really good. Because it puts you in a good position and it forces the enemies out of the good position. So here I jump from the high ground to over here because now that my team is actually closer. Yes, this angle is good, but like think about it. If the enemies only have to look here, well then they're gonna see my team and me. But if I go on the right, well then the enemy's walking forward. Now I have to look this way and this way. So here I fight the Roadhog because I have nothing better to do. I shoot him, he dies, and my dude did not ult. That was their dude who ulted. Here I just jump on the cart because I see my brig is walking on the cart. So I'm just like, well yeah, let me get in here. And I'm just trying to prolong my engage. Now I had bubble. I should have bubbled here. I don't know why I didn't bubble. I literally had 1 second of bubble. I could stay here, bubble to prolong the engagement, and then keep my and then like when I'm in the bubble, I can decide, okay, do I stay here in primal or do I get out? But because I just used my primal super early, I kind of forced myself to only primal. And I think that was actually the wrong play. I think, right, I should have jumped out, kited the Juno ult and the Domino shield here, regen my cooldowns, and then maybe I can, you know, jump over here, set up, and then jump on the backline, and then I can use primal after the ults are over. Here, I think this was a pretty bad play. Simply because they already had a bunch of resources up anyway, and doing this just wasn't really helping my team. But it is what it is. Here, I've kind of ended up behind them. I'm not really too sure how. And it's like a really tricky situation because I want to distract, but I also don't want to engage too early. I see my Anran ult, so I try and follow up, force out the Moira fade. I didn't know where she went, so I just lost her. Here, I went for the Moira. I think that was actually a mistake. Yes, the Moira was isolated and very killable, but can you kind of like wonder why this may not have been the best play? Yeah, because the Moira is all the way over here, low HP, no fade, right? What the fuck is she gonna do to help this fight? What I need to be doing is actually distracting and killing the people who are in the fight. Instead of jumping over here, I have bubble as well, right? I could jump on this Sojourn, bubble her so that she can't shoot my team. Or, you know, I can go for these guys. But I think ideally I would go for the Sojourn here because she's the most dangerous target and the most killable target, right? I jump on Soj, bubble her, get her low, maybe force her slide out over here, force her slide out over here. And then when she gets forced out, she can't do anything with the ult. But if we spectate her, she's able to get a ton of value, right? Tons of value, right? Tons of value. I mean, like, not too much value, right? But, like, she did get a kill that she might not have got had I actually used my shield earlier. And then because my soldier died, you know, he was in ult. Because my soldier died, we lost Visor, and then GG, right? So, like, that fight is actually my fault because I chased a guy who wasn't even in the fight. Yes, she was low. Yes, she was killable. But that only really matters if they're actually contributing to the fight. Because she wasn't contributing to the fight, chasing that had no merit. So I lost my team that fight. Even though it looks like my team lost that fight, like themselves, it's actually my fault because I made a bad play. I'm not sure what the Amron's doing. I don't know what the play is there. I mean, that was interesting. Like, there's no way we're going to be able to go in and contest the cart. Here, I'm just poking main. I don't really have a lot to do. When the Dominant pops shield, there's nothing Monkey can do. There's actually nothing you can do as Monkey. So I'm just going to stage, jump on the angle, and then just try and distract a little bit because I know I can just jump out. So yeah, like I know I can just jump out. Yeah, I remember that. I trolled that so bad. My mechanics on Monkey are really bad. I kind of bumped my head on the ceiling there. I think that's half a mechanical thing of like, well, yeah, don't hit your fucking head on the ceiling, but also just like a decision making thing where it's like, bro, why are you just walking into like 5 of them? That's stupid. Let me change my shit to full screen. Because like, the reason why this is stupid, by the way, is, I mean, just like, look at me and then look at where the enemies are. Like, yeah, of course, all of them are just going to look at me. This is bad timing. I shouldn't have done this so early. But whatever, I die. Let's see what I do here. Why is my shit on 60 FPS? I'm going to crash out. Sorry, this is very unprofessional gameplay here. Right. So here, I see Sojourn. I want to clear her off the high ground. Why? Because if I let her play the high ground here, dead. Anyone coming out of here, dead, right? Like, that's why you want to clear, because if you allow these guys to have these angles, they're going to do a lot of damage to your team, and they're just going to kill them. I see Brick here, so I know I can try and capitalize once she engages. Yeah, it was kind of risky, but you don't want to waste your teammates like value, right? If your teammate is like getting value and she's going in and distracting for you, go like try and follow up. Even if it ends up in you dying, I don't think that was a bad play because that allowed my Brig to get a couple of kills. And I think we probably lose this fight, obviously. But you know, like yeah, we lost, but it was like the intention was nice there. I have to jump with cart because they're gonna cap it if I don't, and then I just die. It's whatever, right? It's about the intention that matters, right? Even if it ended up in us losing that fight, I think it was still a good play. It was just unfortunate I didn't have a lot of health. Okay, attack. I'm like you're gonna see. I'm basically gonna do the exact same thing that I did last round. I can't believe the Brig died there. So I'm gonna wait for the tanks to not really be like right in front of me, and then I'm gonna go on this angle. Why? Because I don't want them to have this space, and I do. And now I can play on this angle, and it's a big distraction, right? You're gonna see a bunch of people are gonna try and turn around to kill me, but then because I'm using the corner decently well, says the guy who gets hooked. Apparently, I don't remember getting hooked here. Because I'm able to use the corner, I'm able to not get shot at by all of these guys. And you see, because I'm playing here, these guys don't want to play as close. Why? Well, because Winston is going to jump on me if I don't. So they have to back up, which means they're giving space, which is going to allow my team to walk forward. And now you're going to see, I'm going to jump on this high ground. Because like I mentioned around the start of this video, playing all on main on point is really bad. Because you're allowing the enemy team to take a bunch of space on the high ground, right? You know, you're allowing them to take hotel, this high ground all the way up here, and the side stairs over here. Again, in that OC video, she explains it a lot better than me and in more detail in pro games. But me being allowed to take this angle, you see how these guys have to continuously move back because they know there's a monkey who is going to try and jump on them, right? So then we are kind of forcing them into this really bad choke. This is like the worst case scenario. This is probably what happens in your ranked games, right? Where you get forced in this choke. It's really bad. And then the enemies have a bajillion angles to engage you from. And the only thing you can do, and it's really obvious, like OC says in that video, what other angle do these guys have to where they can potentially get a pick? Yeah, hotel, right? The only way they can come through is hotel. But hotel is really predictable and really easy to see. You see how my Ashe didn't get hooked there because it's just so predictable. It's so predictable that like even a brain dead player like this guy who's currently going 8 and 15 is actually able to dodge it because it's so. Where else are the enemies gonna appear if they're all over here? The hotel, exactly, right? So that's why you really want to control this space and make it hard for them to take it because if they take it, well, then you're all going to get corralled in this choke, and guess where Winston does best? Well, I'll show you, right? Because all of them are going over here. I see that all of them are currently distracted looking at my Domina. I can jump in. Again, enemies are distracted and not looking at you. Very good. Enemies are not distracted and are currently looking at you. Very, very, very bad, okay? You don't want to jump in when they're looking at you. So like you see, I jump in to kind of soft engage. You know, like I kind of shoot them a little bit, but then I go behind the cover. Why? Because I don't want all 4 of them to just look at me. So I go behind the cover. I'm chill. And then obviously because the Domina's distracted, now my teammates are going to engage on her. And why do I bubble here actually? I think I bubbled because I saw the Roadhog here, and I just didn't want him to hurt me, or maybe I was bubbling these guys. I'm not really entirely sure. I don't like the bubble though, completely. Because I could have just not used it, used the cover against these guys, and then maybe if I'm fighting the Roadhog and I need it, then I can do it. But like now you see that now we have the space here. It's really easy for us to just corral them in this choke here. Like it's super easy, right? The hog tries to walk in the open space. He loses 650 health in 2 nanoseconds, right? And 429 and perish. That's why chokes are really strong, because it just allows you to all shoot the enemies. Here, I'm just gonna sit on my corner and I'm gonna try and make a tactical play and go on the high ground. Why? Because now this is our choke, right? So now we have to walk through the choke and all of the enemies are looking into the choke. So I want to try and create an angle so that they have to look at 2 separate angles. I just spat all over my monitor here. I'm going to walk forward. Why? Because they're not looking through the choke, so it's easy. And I'm going to stage onto this off angle. It's gonna allow me to poke without taking a bunch of damage. Now, you see, I went to go set up on the higher ground, but unfortunately, the Sojourn killed a bunch of people. So, I'm just trying to jump in and maybe get a pick. How is that Emre dead? Guys, do not be like this, Emre. You are not John Halo, okay? You are not Master Chief. You are Emre. Don't do that. But the reason why that works, or like the reason why he died, is probably because I was distracting his supports, right? Look. Alright? The Moira and the Juno were on me, which meant this hero play he's making isn't really able to work because I'm distracting the supports and I'm distracting the Sojourn, right? This is what Monkey's really good at. Distracting people, getting value. Here, I'm stuck, so I die. It's just unlucky. I should have gotten out way earlier instead of jumping in to engage here. Just drop on the hog. Try and kill him. I see Moira here. I'm just gonna shoot her. Now I don't want to go on the front line. I want to try and set up and stage. This is kind of stupid. I'm not sure why I did this. My team is nowhere near ready to engage. This is so stupid. But like, I'm gonna keep going in because I'm not gonna say that. I jump in because I see the Juno is 1 HP and she's already used her movement ability, so she's easy to kill. And now we're in a really strong position here. There's a Bob here, Brick here, and a Winston. A triangle of damage. There's no way they can win. Just kill the Domina, and then I'm going to be able to cut the Sojourn off. I jump up because I don't want to get hooked by the Roadhog. I don't overstay my welcome. Even though I've got Primal here and I could use it, would I want to use Primal in this position? No, because there's no fight. So me using Primal would get so much less value right now than if I just saved it a little bit for the next fight, so then I can use it. So I jump out so that I don't die. Also, I had no bubble, so it's just dangerous. Get out, reset using the corners or just the cover, so I can get my resources back, and then I can re-engage, right? You know, constantly engaging and disengaging, and then you see when I get my stuff back, I'm free to kind of be more aggressive because I have my resources. And then because the hog is isolated, I'm just gonna walk on him, kill him. It's a little bit of a struggle because Roadhog is OP and broken, but now I'm gonna keep walking forward and keep trying to set up. Now look, the Moira has to focus on me, right? She can't just focus on like on my team. And then if she doesn't focus on me, well then she's gonna die. I don't know what this Mercy is doing. I'm gonna keep it real. But like me distracting here kind of gives my Mercy a fighting chance at living because not everyone's gonna look at her. Okay, what is going on there? No way my Mercy lives that. Wow. Sorry. Okay, sorry. That completely enamored me. Also, look at their stats by the way. 60 and 9. 26 and 4, 41 and 6, 40 and 10, 61 and 7, 51 and 9. And then look at my team stats. It's genuinely just me. It's never me. I'm never the reason I've lost any game ever. Well, here the reason why I drop is simply because I see that my team is over here, so they're able to capitalize on my distraction. That's it. It's as simple as that. My team can shoot the enemies that are distracted by me or affected by my distraction, and that's it. Very simple. Why did this Domino die? I'm not entirely sure. Mostly because the Mercy was actually distracting and she had no healing. So like, you know, we can blame the Mercy for that fight because she was low-key distracting. Now here is when it's a good time to have Primal. Why? Because now I can actually use it in the fight. Now, they're currently using 4 ults. So ideally, we would just do our best to kite, try and survive the ults, and then re-engage. But obviously, because Kai is a really smart player, of course the idea is, let me jump in open space in front of 15 and take a bajillion damage. So don't do this. Just kite a little bit, wait for the ults to run out. You know, the best you can. In this situation, it's kind of hard. But try and wait out the ults the best you can. Because here, I would have had, Primal ready. And then I would have been able to jump in and then engage the backline and then Primal, right? Instead of having to have it forced out early because I peaked really early. But you know, I'm gonna try and boot the hog into my team as best I can. He gets him killed, and then I'll just go for the Emre because he's isolated. How long has this video been going on for? 51 minutes. Yeah, this is a long ass video, bro. And you know I'm not editing this. Here, what happened? I must have overextended. Yeah, I just overextended. Why did I overextend? Well, there's 2 reasons. 1, no cooldowns. 2, open space. And I guess the 3rd reason is I'm in front of everyone, so they're just going to shoot me, right? I have no jump, no primal, basically no armor, no shield. I have no resources. So obviously, I'm going to die immediately. How do I prevent myself from dying in this situation? Go for the Juno, but jump closer to the cover over here, so that when I do land, I might be able to shoot the Juno a little bit, but then if I get low, I can just go behind the wall. Now, ideally, I probably, you know, in hindsight, I wouldn't have gone for the Juno at all, but in terms of what I could have done to help myself live, simply just jump closer to the corner here so that I can get my health back and then jump out. Now, I go on Doomfist here. I don't really want to talk about Doomfist because that's not what the video is about. But I mean, I'll let you see it, I guess. I'm not going to talk about it because you know, this isn't a Doomfist video. But you can kind of apply similar fundamentals from Winston to Doomfist here. There we go. Cool. Right, we have the last rounds. Now, I don't want to play as close up here. This is kind of like a risky play you do at the start of the game because it's funny. But like now shit is getting serious, right? It's 6-6. We need to have a good defense here because if we don't, it's GG. So here I'm waiting for them to kind of walk up and take this space, because when this happens, like I have the freedom to jump from here to basically anywhere on the screen, and it's just a lot safer. It's a lot more freedom, and I can still poke from this angle as well, right? Like it's not like I'm doing nothing. Like you see, I have the freedom to jump whenever I want. I see Emre uses his pistol. Now it's time to go in. Why? Because Emre has no survivability / mobility, which means I can just chase him and then force him out, right? And that whole pistol he used was then wasted because he couldn't use it to actually do anything. Now I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna chill on the high ground. Here, I think I should have just instead of dropping on the Roadhog to try and block the hills, I should have just gone over here, dropped on the back line, because that would have distracted a lot more people. Because like you see how all of them kind of immediately saw me. Not a lot of them would have been able to actually like react to me like quick enough for them to destroy the shield faster. But that shield did end up getting a decent amount of value because it separated the Domina from the rest of our team here. So on accident, I was actually able to get a decent amount of value. Look at how broken this ability. Well, I have a lot to say about Domina's E. They did fix it where it doesn't work on barriers anymore. But like, look at how OP this ability was. Boom! I'm just full HP from what I don't know. But yeah, the barrier was able to separate the Domina here, which is pretty nice. Obviously, I'm not gonna jump in. Why? Don't have my bubble immediately, and all of them are looking this way. So what do you think would happen if you jump directly in front of these guys? Yep, you get annihilated. So don't do that. I'm gonna wait behind the corner where no one can see me, get my resources back, my health and my cooldowns, and now that I've got my stuff, I can now set up or actually just engage. Here, I go for the bubble in the middle, because I don't really know what's going on, so I just want to like make sure they don't kill my team somehow. Bubble dancing. This is a bit of micro on Winston. Really, really like small bit of micro. It is important to understand this. So bubble dancing is just where you like try and stay on the opposite side of the barrier to the enemy, right? So if the enemy is outside the barrier, you stay in the barrier. If the enemy comes into the barrier, and especially a Roadhog here, then you want to go outside of the barrier, because now he can't hook me. Now, it's kind of hindered, like your perk value gets kind of nuked by doing this, because obviously you want to be in the bubble to get healed, but fundamentally bubble dancing is about avoiding as much damage as possible, and if it means you have to get out of the healing to do it, then it's good, because 30 healing per second isn't very valuable if a Roadhog is able to walk in the bubble and hook me. So bubble dancing is really helpful here, because it just stops me from taking damage. I go for the Moira because I want to clear her off this angle. If you let the Moira play here, then she has free reign to kind of set up later. Maybe she can walk over here. Maybe she can walk up the stairs and take the high ground, and then that's where shit gets kind of bad. I have no cooldowns right now, so I'm just using my right click. But then when I get my jump, I go for the Moira and the Juno. Why do I go for the Moira and the Juno even though I have no bubble here? Why do you think? Like, look at the environment. Why do you think I go for the Moira and the Juno? Let me actually, yeah. Why do you think I go for these guys, even without bubble? Well, there's two reasons, but they both kind of mean the same thing. So the first reason is that Moira and Juno don't do a lot of damage. So even if I jump in without bubble, it's going to take them a lot longer for them to kill me than it would be for like these guys. And speaking of these guys, the second reason why I jump in without bubble is simply because if these guys want to... Oh, no. There's only Domina, I just realized. If Domina wants to walk forward and try and help and shoot over here, right? Well, then guess who she's going to put herself in the LOS of? Brig, Ashe, Domina, right? So these guys are going to be able to shoot her if she tries to stand here and shoot me. So I'm in a really good position to just chase the supports because I can't, I physically can't die, right? You see how she's walking over here, but she's getting shot. If she tried to shoot me, well then she would have to use her shield in order to do that. But her shield is a 14-second cooldown. So is it really valuable? Wait, no, it's not. It's a fucking 17-second cooldown. I thought it was 14 seconds. Holy fuck, I did not know the shield cooldown was that long. Yeah, it's a 17-second cooldown so that you can shoot a monkey who's just going to jump out again, right? Not a lot of value. And then here I can just jump out when things go bad. Then Soj slides in, no cooldowns. I kill her, capitalize. I see Moira, no fade. I go in, capitalize. Same thing with the Juno. I'm just capitalizing on low HP targets now. Very simple. And then, wow. I mean, this game has been an absolute roller coaster. Let's just look at the scoreboard here. 2 guys have 63 kills. That's disgusting. Anyway, let's skip to the start of the round. Now, I'm playing up here because it gives me the best angle to jump to where I want to. And it also allows me to scout. So I know Soldier's up there. I know these guys are down here. Doing this jump immediately allows me to get so much info. So here, I'm trying to stage, right? I'm trying to set up in a position where I can leap to a better position, right? I don't want to walk down this choke because that's a lot of damage. So here I see Sojourn up there and I see that she's pretty isolated. So I'm like, okay, let me go for her. But why do I decide to go for her? Because none of these guys can actually really help the Sojourn by like jumping up. Like sure, Moira might be able to, Emery might be able to, Juno might be able to, but guess what? If any of them do that, because they're down here, they're going to have to use their cooldowns just to get up here, which means they're vulnerable too. So I try and go for the Sojourn. Unfortunately, I think I might be bad at Monkey because I missed the jump. So now I'm just going to shoot from here, set up on the high ground, right, because it's going to give me a really good position. And the same thing as the last attack round. I know I've had 6 rounds here, right? But same thing as the last attack round, because I'm taking this space, they naturally have to back up. Because if they keep playing here, I'm going to be able to kill them. Or at least heavily distract their backline. And then look, I see Briggs going in there, so I know some people are going to be distracted. I see Reaper here, I see Domina here. Bro, all of them are fucking distracted. Let me just jump in. No one's paying attention. I jump on their backline, bubble early, so that they get as little value as possible on my front line. And then we just kill them. Right? There is no mechanical skill needed to make a play like this. The only skill I needed is having eyeballs and understanding that my teammates are going to get shot at. Why? Because this is Overwatch. You can't let people run around for free. So because I know my teammates are distracting, I just jump in. That's it. That takes no mechanics. And also, bro, the fact that everyone has the healing reduction passive is so beautiful. I wouldn't have killed this guy without the healing reduction passive, by the way, because she would have gotten so much in her. But anyway, go in, kill Torb, kill Moira, and that is how I won this absolute terrible game. This was honestly a terrible game to play. We end the game 7-6, and these are the final stats. Look at my team, bro. Like, this is horrible. But anyway, that's how a guy with 24 hours on Winston ever, out of his 2K hours playing, was able to win this absolutely unwinnable game by using dive fundamentals and just good fundamentals. If you are interested in actually improving your Overwatch at a pretty fast pace, way faster than I did, then you need to learn the fundamentals of the game, the thing, like the concepts and the ideas and the skills that every player uses, like whether they know it or not. because like these are the most important things to learn, right? You know, like the fundamentals of dive are heavily governed by lanes and off angles and flanks and high grounds, but you wouldn't really know that unless you actually like had someone to teach you what the fundamentals were. Well, luckily for you, I have an Overwatch mastery course where I talk about the map theory fundamentals that are going to be able to be used by any hero in the game, any current hero, any new hero. The game sense like the game sense theory that you need to have that's going to strengthen your decision making. This is going to be especially helpful on heroes like Winston, Doomfist, Bull, that are maybe less, like, I'm not going to say less mechanically inclined, but making good choices really matters on them. Like the tank cast really matters in making good choices. And I've also got the player skill fundamentals that you need to kind of like learn and understand and get good at in order to actually use the map theory fundamentals and how and to use them to make good choices. So you can check that out all in my Overwatch Mastery course. See you guys later. Peace.